Hey, welcome in. It's the Johncast podcast. Thank you for supporting this podcast and following and subscribing and telling friends. I appreciate it all. Thanks for leaving the comments on Spotify, comments on X. I've been posting this to YouTube as well. I'm not sure about the YouTube comments yet, but we'll see how that goes. Maybe I just don't want to deal with YouTube. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll keep it going. All right, coming up on today's podcast, I've got a clip from this week's Kelly Sheffield Show in which Coach Sheffield talks about the return of setter Charlie Fuerbringer. And a little bit later on, a lot of player interviews to get to in this episode. Why? Well, because this is the crossover season for me. Not only do I call the volleyball matches, but the women's basketball games for the University of Wisconsin too. So I've got a couple of pregame, or actually halftime rather, interviews for you from the women's basketball team in a couple of transfers, Destiny Howell and Shay Bollin. From the Badgers, we'll hear from Vajagić, and we'll hear from Charlie Fuerbringer too. So it's a Charlie heavy show for the Badgers for this podcast today. So Wisconsin 2-0, two really big wins, one against Minnesota, one against Indiana. But the real story is the return of Charlie Fuerbringer on Sunday. Now you'll hear this in the interview that I had with her for our pre-match show. But I was talking to Charlie. I just happened to want to interview Charlie this game. Everything just happened the way it happened. And so I requested Charlie. I started talking to her and, just kind of talking about, what her role has been with the team since she's been injured for the past 9 matches, really 10. She got injured in that Michigan match. She played a little bit in that match, but it's really basically 10 full matches. And, I was talking about that and just kind of asking her about, and you'll hear it coming up here in just a moment, but just asking her about, just getting some reps in practice and that sort of thing. And then she says, I'm playing today. And it caught me by surprise, obviously. So it was kind of interesting. I was breaking news, but I stumbled into it. I wasn't going out there thinking, I got to talk to Charlie today. This is going to be the day. And you'll hear from head coach Kelly Sheffield a little bit too, just about the decision on bringing Charlie back and whatnot. A couple sound bites here from Coach Sheffield in just a second, but it was funny because I just stumbled into breaking news and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. So then I go talk to Coach Sheffield after that. And I'm like, hey, Charlie told me she's going to start, so we should probably talk about that. So I changed what I was going to ask Coach about in the pre-match interview, started talking about that. And it was really funny. And on this week's Kelly Sheffield Show, Kelly tells a story about how Gary went to the restroom. Now, that's not the story, but the story is in the restrooms at the field house, the pregame show, the play-by-play, the postgame show, it airs for fans to listen to. And he said that, he heard me ask Kelly about that, about Charlie starting. And one of the assistants from Indiana, washed his hands, was listening to, quickly left and went straight to head coach Steve Aird to go tell him what he had heard on the pregame show. So I thought that was very comical, very funny. Kelly did too. But you'll hear about that on the Kelly Sheffield Show, which airs on Thursday night, late one for the Kelly Sheffield Show. I think it's 9 p.m. on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Then it'll be on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel. And then also after it airs on Thursday, I'll post it here to the Johncast podcast so you can catch up with that. A really good interview with Kelly this week on the Kelly Sheffield Show. All right, so we've got a lot to get to. We've got the players to get to. We've got Kelly. Let's get right into Kelly. And of course, like I said, the number one topic on this week's Kelly Sheffield Show was the return of setter Charlie Fuerbringer. And I kind of asked about how that all went down. And here is head coach Kelly Sheffield from this week's show.
Yeah, I think the final decision was made the day before. So what do we play on Sunday? So Saturday, I think. We just we weren't trying to rush. Let's get some practices under our belt, and we gave her the power along with our training staff and doctors, and just said, let's. When you feel like you're ready mentally and physically, you're playing without fear and feel like you can do the things you need to do, then we'll make that decision. And I think probably a couple of weeks ago, we probably felt like maybe the Purdue match. And then I think it got moved up a little bit. Maybe beginning of last week, we started thinking, well, maybe this road trip that we've got coming up. And the idea of the Indiana match really didn't happen until, pretty close to that. Then we confirmed the day of Indiana, and she felt like she was ready to go. So there's no reason to wait if you put the work in and you've got the confidence and in your body, and the medical people feel like, all right, we're probably at the right place. Then that's where we got to. But it felt great to have her out on the court. I mean, obviously, she's a talented player, and I think she's as good as at her position as anybody else in the country. And it was a big deal having her back.
Yeah. How would you describe the connections with the attackers, especially? Carter Booth had her best match statistically, offensively of the season. How would you describe those connections?
I'd say probably better than what you could expect, right? It's, going into the season, going into that Kansas match, I think she only had like 4 or 5 practices going into that, because she had a procedure done around preseason. And, I thought her connections were better on Sunday than they were at the start of the season. It took her a few matches where I felt like she was kind of hitting her spot consistently. And I thought her consistency and her range. She made some sets. It wasn't just the safe set or the easy set. She was, you could tell she had her confidence and her mojo and her trust in her body to make some of the decisions that she was doing, rather than just the nearby set or the safe set or I thought she played with a lot of freedom and confidence.
There you go. That's head coach Kelly Sheffield. I hope you can still hear me. I updated my computer to Windows 11, and now apparently StreamYard doesn't know how to do anything. So the drama with StreamYard continues. I'm going to blame StreamYard, even though it probably has to do with the new Windows 11. But anyway, a new camera. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. I don't even know what's going on anymore. But let's take a listen to some of the pre-match interviews and some halftime basketball interviews I've recently had. Let's start with, who should we start with? Why don't we just start with Charlie Fuerbringer, since we've been talking about Charlie Fuerbringer. So before the match against Indiana, I had a chance to talk with Wisconsin setter Charlie Fuerbringer, and guess what? She surprised me with some breaking news. Here we go. Here's Charlie's interview in case you missed it.
So what have the last several weeks been like for you?
Pretty hard. Sitting out from the sport that is your whole life is really hard. I really just tried to lean on my teammates, and it helped me a lot to just be able to have them as support, have my coaches as support, and if I was ever upset, I could talk to somebody, and it went away right then and there. It got easier as I was able to try and work into practice a little more each and every day. But, it was a grind. I knew I had to work hard, but it kept me busy too, just focusing on that shoulder day in and day out.
What has your role been with helping Addie at the setter position during this time? Yeah,
just being her biggest supporter, trying to understand what works best for her and what doesn't. I ask her questions if she needs me. She knows that I'm always here for her on and off the court. I tell her things that I see by trying not to overwhelm her or anything, but honestly, Addie does not get overwhelmed too easily. She keeps her calm and has really good composure, and I learned a lot just watching Addie too. I think we can both learn a lot from each other, and we bounce off each other really well, and we're really similar. So, yeah, I guess my role overall was just to be her biggest supporter.
You just mentioned you learned a lot from Addie. What have you learned, and are you able to see the game maybe differently from the sideline during this stretch?
Yeah, I've learned. It was kind of funny because she's in the same kind of a similar situation as I was in last year, starting as a freshman, which comes with a lot of pressure, but honestly, in the moment, I didn't realize it. I didn't think it was, too hard, and I think it's hard to explain. I didn't think that it was as hard as it actually is, and seeing her just, really dive into everything and, focus on all the motions and showing up every day and giving it her all is super inspiring for me, and it shows to me, like, she wasn't playing and then she's coming out and doing all this stuff. Like, she really cares about this program. Like, she wants to get better. Like, if she had an error, she looked at it and tried to learn how to fix it right away. And I think that just shows her character. And so I learned a lot about her. And just for me on the sidelines, I learned just different things that I can see from on the sidelines. You can see so much, like, our hitters' routes, what errors are better for them. Like, Jigen, I notice, approaches more inside, so airing inside for her. Just little things like that I've learned.
Talking with Charlie Fuerbringer, so I see you're slowly starting to get some reps during pregame warm-ups and whatnot. How are you feeling physically?
Really good. Yeah. I'm actually playing today.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, breaking news. Okay.
Breaking
Excellent.
news.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're pretty excited about that then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm super fired up. Trying to keep my cool, but I'm really, really excited. Yeah.
So what has that decision-making been like to be able to get into the match today then?
Yeah, it was just rehab every day, and then Walker and I talked, and she at first we were going to have my first game in Michigan State, but I've been looking really good and feeling really good and confident in my shoulder where I'm able to play this game.
Okay. Well, best of luck today, and thanks for the time.
Thank you.
There you go. That is Charlie Fuerbringer, Badger setter. Now, in the match before that on Wednesday against Minnesota, I had a chance to speak with Wisconsin redshirt sophomore Una Vajagić, and here's that interview.
What has this season been like for you from not playing last season to starting this year?
It was just like incredible last year watching the big players play here, like on my position, Sarah Franklin and Julia Orzol. And then this year being on their place is just like incredible, especially after injury. It's something that I was dreaming every day on the recovery to do.
What's something you think you've excelled at or been really good at this season?
I think I'm improving every day, I would say, every game. It's like coming back from injury. It's pretty hard mentally first and also physically, but I think passing is something that I was pretty good this season, and attacking mostly from the game to the game. Yeah.
Your passing and your defending is something that head coach Kelly Sheffield really talks about, that he really likes about your game. How did you become such a good passer?
Yeah, that's a hard question, because passing, I think it's one of the hardest elements in volleyball. It's really mental, because you never know how ball is going to come to you, and like it's pretty hard, but I don't know, I just trust the process. We practice a lot with coaches passing, and just like mental game, trying to be focused on my footwork and like hands, arms, like how I position them. It's like big thing for me, so yeah.
Talking with Una Vajagić, so what's it like to have so many players from Serbia in college volleyball? It seems like every week there's another person that you know on the other side.
Yeah, even my teammates are joking, like, well, you have more people that you know than we. It's so fun. But it's really fun, because last year there was not that many people, but this year it's a lot, especially in Big Ten. I think I saw maybe 5 people already or something, so it's really fun to see somebody who is like in same position as you and talk on the same language, and like I'm really happy for all of them.
Yeah, so you're from Novi Sad, Serbia. What's the best thing to do there? If somebody were to take vacation there, what would you tell them to do?
I think city is beautiful. It's just like walking through the city and like, of course, eating our food and just like exploring the city. That's my favorite thing to do in every city where I visit. So visit our famous places would be something that I would look for.
You mentioned the food in Serbia. Is there a favorite like Serbian dish or food that you like the most?
It is. It's called stuffed pepper. Basically, pepper is like stuff with like meat, and it's hard to explain really, but that's my favorite, and I really like all the sweet stuff that my grandma used to make, so all the cakes and pastry and everything.
And finally, for you, you've been here now in the United States, in Wisconsin for a little bit. What's something you find interesting about American culture? Is there anything you find maybe odd or interesting?
A lot of air conditioning, a lot of those, and what's my favorite thing some people are asking me to is just sport culture. I like how people like to come to the games and like be together, and that's kind of tradition here, especially for college games. That's my favorite thing here.
Thanks, Una.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
There you go. That is Una Vajagić with my pregame interview with the Badger redshirt sophomore. Let's switch it up to basketball. The Badgers are 2-1 after their first 3 games under first-year coach Robin Pinchton. The Badgers beat Oakland, then they lost in overtime at Marquette on Saturday before topping Milwaukee on Monday. And before the game against the Golden Eagles on Saturday, I had a chance to speak with transfer from Howard, Destiny Howell. So here is that halftime interview, in case you missed it.
You spent 5 seasons at Howard, decided to come to Madison for your final season of college basketball. So what drew you to Wisconsin?
When I took my When I took my visit to Wisconsin, honestly, I didn't really see anything wrong with being here. I thought that everything felt right in my spirit. Everything felt right. Looking at it, everything just drew me here because it was where I was supposed to be at. And I felt that as soon as I stepped foot in Madison. Coach P's vision for me with what she wanted me to do for the team, how she wanted me to contribute to the team, and what she saw me for the future as well, because, I want to play pro, and my aspirations of doing that, I thought that she was the person to be able to help me get there in terms of me being a player and me being a person. That's something that, she focuses a lot on. So just thought that being in Wisconsin was a perfect fit for me, and playing Big Ten basketball, being in the best conference and, Division I, I thought that was really important, and be able to do that here and try and flip the narrative of being in Wisconsin and having it be a winning program and just changing what we've done in the past, I think, 14 years. So,
you led the team in scoring in the season opener with 17 points, including 3 3-pointers made. How would you describe what type of player you are?
Just a playmaker, making the right plays when needed, whether that's, passing the ball, scoring the ball, rebounding, using my voice out on the court, being a presence. Just being smooth. I think that's a lot of attributes to my game as well. I think I play pretty smooth, and just being a leader.
What do you think might surprise people about this year's team as we get deeper and deeper into the season?
I think that right now, if you look at preseason projections and what we're supposed to do, I don't think that we're just going to be that. I think that we're going to be a lot more than that. So a lot of threes are going to get up. We're going to play fast. Defensive intensity is going to be up there, and we're just going to be a different Wisconsin team than people are used to seeing in the past.
Talking with Destiny Howell here at the half. Now, I saw a clip of you online that you said your calling is to talk to people through the game of basketball. What do you mean by that, and what do you want to tell them?
I think that basketball gives me opportunity to meet a lot of different people and, just talk life into them, and I think that it puts me on a platform to where I'm allowed to do that, especially being in Wisconsin. Compared to me being at Howard, my outreach is a lot bigger than what it was before. So, my story in general, just being an underdog and being where I am today, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something, and just keep working at whatever you feel like is your calling.
Final question for you. What do you love most about the game of basketball?
I would say the people that I meet from it. There's so many different people, just from AAU games to high school and now being in college, different teams. There's so many people that you come across, and everybody has a different path after basketball. It's not just, I'm going to go play pro, or I'm going to have to, stay within sports. So many people do so many different things, and, the connections that you make are really, really special.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Destiny Howell. The Badgers had an 8-point lead at Marquette on Saturday. They were up 57-49, about 2.5 minutes to go. Marquette would go on a 10-0 run to take the lead. Wisconsin would tie it with a basket with about 5 seconds to play. Marquette would win in overtime by 3 points. So the Badgers are 2-1. They play Wednesday at the Kohl Center against Bowling Green. And then their third in-state game will be Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. against Green Bay. You can hear those on 1070 a.m. in Madison, those games. All right, finally, before the game against Milwaukee, I had a chance to talk with Shay Bollin, another transfer, one of 6 transfers on this year's women's basketball team. She comes courtesy of Illinois, and here's that conversation with Shay Bollin.
So in the season opener, you were 1 point away from tying your career high. You scored 13 points in 14 minutes. So what was really working for you on the court in that first game?
Honestly, I think just taking the best shots that the defense was giving to me in that moment, and my teammates putting me in the right position. I haven't necessarily had the full opportunities that I've wanted in college basketball, and I haven't played in about a year due to missing last season. And so I think just getting my feel for the game back is going to take me some time, and it felt nice to just be out there and feel my confidence coming back a little bit.
When there's so many new players on a team like this year's Badgers team, they're all converging at once. Do you notice things like chemistry building like on a daily basis? Do you notice that? It seems like probably that would be something that just is continuous.
100%. And I think we've been so blessed to have a coaching staff who knows how pivotal that connectivity is and knows how much better teams can do on the court when they are really close and know each other on a really personal level off the court. And so Coach P and our coaching staff was amazing at setting that foundation for us in the summer. The first day we got to campus, we spent so much time on telling our personal stories and learning what each of us has gone through and being really vulnerable with each other. And I think it makes it a lot easier to go to bat for one another when you have that deep understanding of who everyone is as people.
Talking with Shay Bollin at the half. So what is your most valuable asset as a player?
I think I like to describe myself as someone who's pretty versatile. You know, I'm someone who I try to make everyone around me better, whether that's just as a leader, a passer, someone who is going to bring a ton of energy on defense and offense, and try to get my teammates the ball in the right position, try to set them really good screens, but then also take my shots when I'm open and score the ball. And so, yeah, just someone who has a lot of energy. I would say that's my biggest asset.
Now, what I find interesting, you grew up in a family of basketball players. Your mother played at Ithaca. Your father played at Colgate. Has it always been basketball for you?
It has, even though it was never something that was forced on me. My parents put me in a ton of different sports and gave me the opportunity to fall in love with the game myself, which of course I did, and ultimately decided that was a sport I wanted to focus on. But still to this day, I mean, my brother is committed to play basketball at Brown, and both of my younger siblings have college scholarships, and so it's a big deal in my family, and we all love it.
Do you talk to your parents like after do they notice things and they give you advice or something like that?
Yeah, I think, my mom coached me all throughout high school, and my dad also has experience with coaching as well. So I really, really value their opinions, and I always know that they're going to be completely honest with me. I don't have parents who sugarcoat things or tell me great job when I wasn't, at my best or giving my full effort, and I'm super grateful for that, especially the older I get. Just hearing what they have to say to me and implementing their opinions is super helpful, especially just because I know they're always team first and always, wanting to help me do what's best for my team. And I love that just perspective that they take.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
All right, there you go. That's Shay Bollin, my halftime interview. I hope you heard me before, Bollin. I'm not sure. Hey, if anybody has any recommendations other than StreamYard, sign me up. No, I'll listen. If you do, leave a comment on Spotify or just send me a direct message on X or whatever, because I hope this is working. All right, so that's the podcast for this week. Big news for the Badgers. They've got Charlie Fuerbringer back. Badger women's basketball is 2-1. Things are looking okay. Things are looking okay right now for Wisconsin. The Big Ten season in volleyball is winding down. Michigan State on Friday. Then it's Illinois on Saturday, 6 p.m. on Friday, 8 p.m. on Saturday. You can listen 6 p.m. on Friday on ESPN Madison, the ESPN Wisconsin app as always. Saturday, that's going to be online only on the ESPN Wisconsin app in Madison, but you'll be able to listen outside of the city in Milwaukee and in Beaver Dam on 1430 a.m. But just download that ESPN Wisconsin app. You're going to be good to go. Badger women's basketball plays Wednesday and Sunday, and you can hear both those games on 1070 AM or the iHeart Radio app if you choose to download that. So there you go. That is the show for today. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I had a lot more content, but I don't even know if this is working at this point. I hope it does. We'll be back stronger than ever, hopefully. Hopefully by next week, I'll get everything figured out and StreamYard will be perfect. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the John Cast podcast. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.